Okay, I'm gonna do a different kind of video, one I've been trying to make for a long time. This isn't so much about macro strategy, but it's still about the game, just sort of understanding it from a different perspective. Um, I'm gonna talk about skateboarding. I like to skateboard outside of playing video games, and I did as a kid. I wasn't very good at it, and I got back into it as an adult during COVID, and I'm still not very good at it. But I love to do it. I love to go out there and skate and practice. And, sometimes some of the things that I try to learn how to do takes me months or years. And it takes some kid out there, who got on a skateboard yesterday, to be able to figure it out in just a matter of like a couple of weeks. Um, and that's something that's important to remember is that, when I'm doing that though, it's not for anyone else. It's for me. And it's just for me trying to improve and understanding where I'm at currently and just where my next goal is. Cuz I'm not trying to be a pro skateboarder. I am just trying to do better than I was the day before. Uh and that is something I think is important to remember is that, there's a lot of people who stream this game or play this game all day every day who are a combination of talent and practice that have gotten them to be where they're at. And it's not fair to compare yourself to how they played the game or their rank or how they're able to get a 95% win rate or something to top 500. you know, we all have to play the game in sort of our own way. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not even the best Marvel Rivals player by any means. I don't consider myself one of the best or one of the better ones, even at that. I have a specific play style in which it is more about uh, uptime and trying to bring a overall positive value by dying less and trying to secure safe picks uh, while also just pulling out resources and helping set my team up for success. And I do that because of the fact that I don't play this game as often as the content creators who are streaming it all day, every day. I don't think it's realistic for me to try and match their playstyle in which they are the solo carry and how they are able to have that 100% win rate or whatever to top 500. Um, so, this also comes after seeing some people, and I've had this comments like this on other videos in the past where they try to disprove my videos by saying like, well, because this is what I saw in the pro play of this game, that disproves what you're saying in your videos. And what people need to understand is pro play is an entirely different conversation, right? That's an entirely different game than what you play. How you're going to play in bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, grandmaster, celestial, and then pro play is all going to be very different, and you need to adapt and change as you rank up. You're going to find things that were able to work and you were able to get away with in lower ranked games that eventually in the future you're not going to be able to get away with anymore. Which isn't to say that it's a bad strategy. It's a good strategy as long as it's working. So if you're playing in gold and you're winning games a certain way, then keep doing it that way. But the moment it starts to not work, then you need to change how you're doing things and adapt to your new environment, right? Uh, so yeah, don't look at like what streamers are doing and you know what pro players are doing and say, well, this is what I need to do. It's like, no, they're playing a different game than what you're playing, right? It's not to say that they don't have good advice. There's some general good advice like I have with just like positioning and resource management that is always sort of true. But at the end of the day, you need to find sort of your play style and the way that you play the game that works for you. Uh, and this is also why like I'm not going to sit there and tell you guys like what heroes to play in order to win or whatnot. Like I think that's not a good that's not helpful either. Video games like these, especially in these hero based shooters, are about finding the hero that you love to play that feels good. The moment you sit down and you start playing with the controls, you're like, yeah, this one feels right. Because that's what I did with Psylocke. I went into the training ground first day game was released and or in the practice range, and I tried out all the heroes with my friends, and I was like, you know what, Psylocke just feels right, and I just went with her. I didn't know what tier she was. I didn't care. I was just like, this is the one I'm going to play, and that's what I've done in every one of my games, or every PvP game, or every game like this is I find what I like and I stick to it, and that's just how I play. And then after that, I start to branch out and I find other things. Uh, but especially because of the fact that in games like this and in these hero-based shooters, people are like, "Oh, you can't play like, you can't play like Rocket, or you can't play Captain America, or you can't play Scarlet Witch because of the fact that they're not meta or they're F tier or whatever." It's just like, no, no, no. The people giving you tier lists are playing in top 500. That is not the rank that you guys play in. A top 500 Spider-Man is might be way scarier than a top 500 Wanda, right? But a bronze Spider-Man or a bronze Wanda is very different, right? In bronze, people are probably a lot more afraid of the Wanda than they are the Spider-Man. Everybody is playing different games. And when you watch content creators and you see different people and you see they have these like amazing win rates where they're doing all this stuff and they're popping off and they have this great aim and whatnot, like it's important to not compare yourself exactly to what they're able to do, especially given the fact that for the streamers and content creators who is become their job for them to play video games, which is very lucky for them, and I think that's awesome. But I don't think it's fair to me to compare myself to these people who can practice and play the same game all day, every day. And I know mechanically I won't be able to match up. So, right, my play style and the way that I've sort of evolved is like, hey, well, when you work a 9 to 5, what can you do to rank up when you're playing games on the weekends with your friends? So I learned to just play very smart, play to live, play around your resources, play around your cover, take the safe fights. And that has taken me, all the way up to Celestial. And, I haven't tried to climb any higher than that since. Like, to me, that was like my goal. I was like, I really want to get to Celestial before Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. And I did that. And then I'm like, cool. But one thing I noticed is that, I did it because of the fact that to prove to myself and for you guys, but also like one thing I noticed is that the game became a lot less fun because then all of a sudden I wasn't playing with my friends anymore, right? Like I had to solo queue in order to do that, but now the game wasn't as fun as it was as when I was grouping with my buddies when we, would all have time off of work. And that's where it's just not really worth it. Like the rank doesn't really matter that much, right? I wanted to play for fun, and I'd much rather lose with my friends and stay a lower rank than I would climb solo queue and just do it by myself, right? After hitting my rank, I'm like, you know what? That's good enough for me. Now, I'd much rather just help make videos for you guys and, help teach you ways to, hopefully up your own game and make games less frustrating, make it easier to understand where you could improve, than it would be for me to continue to try to rank up or get any higher. But yeah, that's just something I want you guys to remember is that video games are about fun, right? Play the heroes you want to play and find ways to make them work. Don't sit there and obsess over like tier lists or like what the top 500 players are doing or what pro players are doing, because the game that you play every day and the game that they play every day is just not the same game. Like, you're going to do things way differently than they will, but I want you to feel free to play what you want to play, experiment, find those creative ways to win your games, because of the fact that, even in top 500, there's those heroes that people are like, oh, well, the same top 500 players are just like, oh, well, you can't play Penny because Penny's crap, or you can't play Scarlet because Scarlet's crap. But there's still people who found a way to take those heroes that everyone said were crap and take them to the top 500. They didn't listen to everyone else. They found their own way. They made it work. And they are, they're that exception to that rule. But that's just how it works, is you just have to find the way that you want to play the game and then make it your way. Experiment, play, because at the end of the day, we're not getting paid to do this. You're supposed to be having fun. And I want you to have fun, to feel free to try things, and if it doesn't work and if you lose, that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's just a game. Even one bad day of a loss streak doesn't really matter all that much. Like, you could, if you won it before, you can win it again. But just focus on learning, improving, and doing better, and the rank will follow. Focus on having fun, playing the characters that you want to play, and eventually, after some time, you will get better at those characters. So yeah, this is just sort of a general mindset of things, but don't compare yourself to the people whose job it is all day every day to play this game, and focus on what you can do in your games in order to improve and in order to win. And sometimes that means in like the lower ranks, you might need to solo carry a bit harder. And as you climb up and in the higher ranks, that might mean relying on your team a little bit more. But yeah, it's just learning, adapting, and changing your play style, and feeling free to creatively express yourself through the game that matters. But anyway, I know this one was a little simple. I know it's not the macro understanding, but I still hope that some of y'all found it helpful. And uh, set goals for yourself. Also, things that you think, little goals, milestones to reach for. Because I know that like I hit celestial myself, which was like my goal in like the first, in the first season or whatever of Rivals. But I also come with almost 40 years of gaming experience right now. So this isn't also like, oh, I just hopped in this game and just magically figured it out. Like, no, I have years of Overwatch, TF2, and other gaming experience that just carried over. That has helped me. So, I spent a lot of time fumbling through those games, and, I brought it with me. And as you're learning, you will eventually climb too. But focus on the learning, focus on the having fun part, and the rank will follow. Anyway, yeah, I hope you found this video helpful, and yeah, I hope you hop off and have some fun in Rivals.